Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be, exploring this book called Putin's Playbook.
Oh, yeah.
By Rebekah Koffler.
I love that book. It's great.
And, it offers, I think, a really unique perspective on Vladimir Putin.
Definitely.
And Russia's, strategic goals on the world stage.
Yeah, it's more than just like a regular political analysis.
Right.
Koffler's background as a former Defense Intelligence Agency officer and a Russian native gives her like an amazing understanding of the inner workings of the Russian government and Putin's mindset.
Totally. And, we love to go beyond the headlines here at the deep dive. And this book certainly does that.
It does.
It really gets into the historical and cultural context that shapes Russia's actions on the world stage.
Absolutely. And Koffler argues that to truly understand Putin and Russia's ambitions, we need to look past the surface and really delve into these deep-seated beliefs and historical traumas and cultural nuances that drive their decision-making.
It's really fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Before we get into the specific, I think it's important to highlight what makes Koffler such a credible source on this topic, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't just an analyst observing from afar. Like, she was born in the USSR, lived through that system, and then, became a U.S. intelligence officer. Specializing in Russia.
Yeah, her personal journey is so fascinating. She talks about, growing up in the Soviet Union, witnessing firsthand the oppressive nature of the regime, and then later feeling this profound sense of duty to use her understanding of the Russian mindset to protect her adopted country, the United States.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And, I think that personal experience combined with her professional expertise really shines through in the book.
Totally.
You can tell she's not just, regurgitating talking points.
Yeah.
She's speaking from a place of, deep knowledge and lived experience.
It's that insider's perspective that really makes this book so valuable. She can connect the dots in a way that few other analysts can drawing on. Her fluency in Russian, her understanding of the culture, and her knowledge of the intelligence world.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about Putin himself.
Okay.
Koffler paints this really vivid picture of his formative years in Leningrad, especially the profound impact that World War II had on his worldview.
His family was deeply affected by the war.
Yeah.
His father, was an NKVD officer, the precursor to the KGB, was severely injured fighting the Nazis, and his mother barely survived. The brutal 872-day siege of Leningrad.
Oh, my gosh.
It was just a horrific experience that left lasting scars on the city and its people.
Koffler argues that these experiences, these traumas instilled in Putin this profound sense of vulnerability and a fierce determination to ensure that Russia would never be, caught off guard again, that it would never be weak or humiliated on the world stage.
And it wasn't just his family's experience. Koffler emphasizes that those historical traumas, the wars, the revolutions, the invasions, they're deeply embedded in the Russian psyche, and they've created this worst case scenario mindset that continues to color everything they do.
It's like they're constantly bracing for the next attack.
Yeah,
always on guard, always suspicious of the intentions of others, especially the West. And this mindset, she argues, is crucial to understanding why Putin acts the way he does.
Absolutely.
On the world stage.
She delves into how these early experiences shaped Putin's personality and leadership style, highlighting his deep-seated need for control, his distrust of the West, and his belief in strength.
Strength above all else.
Above all else, yeah.
She even connects his judo training.
Oh, yeah.
Which he started as a young man to his approach to, leadership and strategy.
Judo, as Koffler explains, emphasizes using your opponent's strength against them, exploiting their weaknesses, and always being in control.
Yeah.
She argues that these principles are reflected in Putin's tactics, in international relations, in his ability to outmaneuver his opponents and seize opportunities when they arise.
It's fascinating to see how she weaves together these seemingly disparate threads, his childhood, his athletic training, his KGB career, to create this compelling portrait of a man driven by a deep-seated need for control, and a belief in strength as the ultimate currency of power.
Yeah. And speaking of the KGB, Koffler really gets into the nitty-gritty of Putin's time there and how it shaped his worldview and his approach to leadership.
Yeah.
She highlights his mastery of compromise, the use of compromising information to manipulate and control people.
It's like something straight out of,
I know,
a spy thriller. But Koffler argues that, this is how Putin sees the world, as a game of shadows and leverage, where information is weaponized.
Yes.
And trust is a liability.
Exactly.
She even provides some specific examples of Putin's use of compromise and his ability to control the narrative.
Yeah.
She mentions that interview he did.
Oh, yeah.
With Chris Wallace.
I remember that.
Where he completely deflected questions.
He did.
About the Mueller report.
Yeah.
Refusing to even glance at it.
That was amazing.
It was a master class in deflection and manipulation.
He never lost his cool.
He never gave an inch.
Nope.
And ultimately, managed to tune the tables on his interviewer.
Koffler argues that this episode perfectly illustrates Putin's KGB training in action.
He really does.
His ability to, control the narrative, turn information into a weapon, and to never show weakness.
Never show weakness, yeah. And she makes a compelling case that this KGB background is essential to understanding his leadership style.
It's not just that he was in the KGB. It's that the KGB shaped his entire way of thinking.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he brings that mentality to everything he does, from domestic politics to international relations.
Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of Putin the man.
Right.
Let's shift gears.
Okay.
And talk about Russia's strategic goals.
Okay.
As a nation.
Sure.
What is Putin, ultimately trying to achieve?
Yeah.
Where does he want to take Russia in the 21st century?
Koffler argues that Russia is laser focused on a few key objectives.
And those are?
First, they want to rebuild their sphere of influence in what they call Eurasia, basically the former Soviet republics, and surrounding territories.
Okay.
They see this as their natural backyard and are determined to prevent any Western encroachment in this region.
That makes sense. Yeah, they see themselves as the dominant power in that part of the world, and want to reassert their authority. What else?
Second, they want to push back against NATO expansion.
Okay.
They see NATO as an existential threat.
Right.
A military alliance encroaching on their borders and potentially undermining their security.
So they view NATO expansion as a direct threat to their national interests.
Exactly.
Makes sense given their history of being invaded from the West.
Exactly. Yeah. And third, they want to reclaim their status as a global power, a force to be reckoned with on the world stage. They feel that they were unfairly marginalized after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and they want to regain their rightful place among the world's leading nations. Yeah. And they're not, shy about asserting themselves on the world stage.
Right.
They view the world as the zero-sum game, where any gain for the West is automatically a loss for Russia, and vice versa.
That's a pretty stark worldview. It doesn't leave much room for cooperation or compromise.
Oh, really?
It helps explain why they're so suspicious of U.S. intentions.
Yeah, they see the U.S. as actively trying to, contain and weaken them, and they see conflict as almost inevitable.
So it's not just about rebuilding their power and influence. It's about pushing back against what they see as a direct threat from the United States and its allies.
Precisely, and Koffler delves into how these historical geopolitical theories, like Mackinder's Heartland theory and Spikeman's Rimland theory, are still very much alive in Russian strategic thinking.
Those theories basically argue that whoever controls the Eurasian landmass controls the world, right?
Exactly, and Russia sees the U.S. as trying to use these theories to contain and potentially fragment their nation.
By controlling the rimland, basically the countries surrounding Russia, the U.S. can prevent them from becoming a true global power.
Exactly, and that's where Alexander Dugin comes in. He's this influential Russian philosopher who's been called Putin's brain. He's a proponent of Eurasianism, this ideology that sees Russia as destined to lead a vast Eurasian empire.
So he's like the the ideological architect of Putin's vision for Russia's future.
Koffler argues that Dugin's ideas have had a significant impact on Putin and the Russian general staff. His writings and speeches have helped shape their worldview and their strategic thinking.
Okay, so knowing their goals and their worldview, how do they plan to achieve them?
Right.
What's the playbook?
Well, Koffler argues that Russia, knowing it can't match the U.S. militarily in a conventional war, has embraced this concept of asymmetric warfare, or what they call indirect action.
So it's not about, going toe-to-toe with the U.S. in a traditional, military conflict. It's about finding other ways to achieve their objectives.
Exactly. It's about exploiting vulnerabilities, using political and social manipulation, and controlling the narrative through disinformation.
It's about fighting, a different kind of war, one that doesn't necessarily involve tanks and planes, but information and influence, and psychological warfare.
Precisely. And she brings up a specific example of this with Putin's direct appeal to the American people in 2013 to prevent Obama from taking military action in Syria after Assad was accused of using chemical weapons.
That was a pretty bold move to go over the heads of the U.S. government and appeal directly to the American people.
It was a masterful use of propaganda and public relations to undermine U.S. policy.
He reminded them of the shared history between the U.S. and Russia during World War II, invoked the horrors of war, and even questioned America's claim to exceptionalism.
It was a brilliant play.
It was.
And it worked.
Or did.
Public opinion in the U.S. turned against military intervention, and Obama was forced to back down.
It was a perfect example of how Russia can use indirect action to achieve its objectives without firing a shot.
So Putin's playbook is about recognizing Russia's limitations and finding creative ways to work around them to achieve their goals through, unconventional means.
Unconventional means, exactly. And Koffler argues that the U.S. needs to wake up to this reality and stop underestimating Russia's ability to wage this kind of unconventional warfare.
She's right.
Okay, so we've covered Putin's background, Russia's goals, and their embrace of indirect action. Next, we need to talk about the tools they use to put this playbook into action.
Okay.
Let's start with their their military doctrine and cyber warfare capabilities.
Koffler reveals that the Russian general staff is constantly forecasting potential threats and future wars using a surprisingly complex methodology that goes far beyond anything the U.S. currently utilizes.
But they're not just reacting to events. They're actively trying to anticipate future threats and prepare for them.
They take a threat assessment very seriously, and they're constantly running war games and simulations to prepare for a wide range of scenarios.
And cyber warfare is a key part of this, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They see cyber warfare as, a crucial element of modern conflict. It's a way to achieve their objectives without risking a full-scale military confrontation with a superior opponent.
And they've already, demonstrated their capabilities in this area. Right.
They have. Koffler goes into detail about the sophistication and destructive capability of their cyber arsenal. Yeah. She says it's a three-pronged approach: espionage, sabotage, and influence operations.
Espionage is pretty straightforward. Yeah. Stealing secrets, gathering intelligence. Right. Sabotage is about disrupting critical infrastructure, power grids, financial systems, transportation networks. Right. But what about influence operations? What are those?
Influence operations are all about, manipulating public opinion, sowing discord, and undermining trust in democratic institutions. Yeah. They use social media propaganda outlets like RT and even agents of influence to, spread disinformation, amplify existing divisions, and manipulate public discourse on sensitive topics.
So it's about, shaping the narrative, controlling the information space, and ultimately influencing the way people think and act.
Right, exactly. And it's incredibly effective in the age of social media. Right. It's easier than ever to spread disinformation and manipulate public opinion.
And Koffler argues that the U.S. is particularly vulnerable to this kind of attack because we're so reliant on technology and have such a free and open media environment.
She points out how much emphasis they place on cyber in their military doctrine, going so far as to claim that mastery in the information space might actually be more decisive than traditional military power.
That's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
And it shows just how seriously they take this domain of warfare. They're not just playing catch-up. They're actively trying to gain an edge over the U.S. in cyberspace.
And they're doing a pretty good job of it. Yeah. They've already demonstrated their ability to penetrate our critical infrastructure, manipulate our elections, and sow discord within our society.
Yeah, and that brings us to another key element of Putin's playbook. Okay. The use of human intelligence or human end.
They were talking about spies.
Yes.
The classic cloak and dagger stuff. Exactly. Koffler pulls back the curtain on how Russian intelligence operates, emphasizing their reliance on humainen.
Okay.
Particularly deep cover agents known as illegals.
Illegals, what are those?
These are agents who are trained to blend seamlessly into the target country, living seemingly ordinary lives for years or even decades while gathering intelligence and waiting for, the right moment to act. They're the ultimate, sleepers.
It sounds like something straight out of... a Cold War spy novel.
It is. And Koffler shares, some incredible stories about Soviet illegals operating in the U.S.
Really?
During World War II and even during the Cold War.
Like, give me an example.
For example, she describes how they were instrumental in stealing nuclear secrets from the Manhattan Project.
Oh, my God.
And even influencing key figures like Harry Hopkins, one of President Roosevelt's closest advisors.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
They were, that deep inside the U.S. government.
According to Koffler, yes. And that's, precisely what makes them so dangerous. Yeah. They're incredibly patient. Right. They play the long game. And they're masters of blending in.
It's kind of chilling to think about.
I know.
So how does this contrast with the way U.S. intelligence operates?
Koffler argues that the U.S. intelligence community has become overly reliant on technology, satellites, intercepts, and cyber espionage.
Which makes us more vulnerable to this kind of human intelligence.
Precisely. Humans are inherently more adaptable and better at deception than machines.
Right.
They can exploit weaknesses, build relationships, and manipulate situations in ways that technology simply can't.
So it's like they're using our strengths against us.
Right.
We're so focused on technology that we've neglected the human element of intelligence gathering.
Exactly. And that that feeds directly into another key element of Putin's playbook, active measures.
We've heard a lot about this in the news lately.
Yeah.
With all the talk about, disinformation campaigns and election interference. Mm-hmm. What exactly are active measures?
Active measures are basically covert influence operations designed to manipulate perceptions, so chaos, and destabilize their opponents.
So it's not just about espionage or sabotage. It's about actively shaping the information environment to their advantage.
Precisely. They use social media propaganda outlets like RT and even agents of influence to, spread disinformation, amplify existing divisions, and manipulate public discourse on sensitive topics.
It's like they're trying to, weaponize information itself.
Exactly. And they've been doing this for decades.
Really?
Koffler brings up some compelling historical parallels, like the Soviet Union's Operation Infection in the 1980s.
What was that?
It was a massive disinformation campaign that spread the lie that the U.S. military created the HIV virus.
Wow. Did people actually believe that?
Unfortunately, yes.
Wow.
Many people did.
That's incredible.
The Soviets were, masters at exploiting existing prejudices and anxieties to spread these kinds of narratives. Yeah. And in the age of social media, it's it's even easier to manipulate information and control the narrative.
It's kind of terrifying to think about how vulnerable we are to this kind of manipulation.
Koffler also mentions Maria Butina, the Russian woman who was convicted of being an unregistered foreign agent in the U.S.
Right. She infiltrated conservative political circles and tried to influence U.S. policy towards Russia.
Butina is a perfect example of a modern-day agent of influence.
Right.
She was able to exploit the openness of American society to gain access to powerful people and try to advance Russian interests.
So she was, basically a real-life Mata Hari.
Yeah.
Using her charm and connections to gain access and influence.
It's amazing how brazen they can be.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's not just about influencing policy. It's also about, sowing discord, undermining trust in democratic institutions, and creating chaos.
So they're not just trying to, achieve specific policy objectives. They're trying to weaken us from within.
Yes.
To make us distrust each other and lose faith in our own system.
Exactly. And they're very good at it.
It's, a scary thought.
It is.
So it's not just about understanding, their military capabilities or their intelligence operations.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that they're playing a different game altogether, a game that doesn't have any rules.
Precisely. And Koffler argues that the U.S. needs to wake up to this reality and start playing the same game if we want to, to win.
So we need to get better at counterintelligence, at disrupting their active measures, and at protecting ourselves from this kind of unconventional warfare.
Exactly. And we need to be, much more realistic about our relationship with Russia. We need to abandon the illusion that we can be friends or partners, at least in the foreseeable future.
So what can we do? What does Koffler recommend?
She offers, a few concrete recommendations.
Okay.
First, we need to, invest in our own cyber defenses, both in terms of technology and expertise. We need to be able to deter and respond to cyber attacks effectively.
That makes sense.
What else?
We need to strengthen our counterintelligence capabilities.
Okay.
We need to be better at detecting and disrupting Russian intelligence operations, both here in the U.S.
Right.
and abroad.
Okay.
And finally, we need to be more, realistic about our relationship with Russia.
Right.
We need to abandon the illusion that we can be friends or partners, at least in the foreseeable future.
Right.
We need to be clear-eyed about their intentions and prepared to defend our interests.
It's a sobering message, but it's one that we need to hear.
It is.
Putin's playbook is a wake-up call.
A reminder that we're facing a serious challenge, and we need to be prepared to, to meet it head on.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
This book is essential reading for anyone who wants to, understand the threat that Russia poses and what we can do to protect ourselves.
It's been an incredible deep dive.
Yeah, it has.
And I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
From Putin's background in psychology to Russia's strategic goals and tactics,
right,
from their military doctrine and cyber warfare capabilities to the inner workings of their intelligence services.
It's a complex and often disturbing picture.
Yeah, it is.
But it's one that, we need to grapple with if we want to, navigate the challenges of the 21st century.
Knowledge is power.
It is.
And the more we, understand our adversaries, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
And our interests.
So if you're looking for a deep dive into the world of geopolitics and espionage, pick up a copy of Putin's Playbook.
Yeah.
You won't regret it.
And join us next time for another deep dive into the topics that matter.
Sounds good.
Until then, stay curious
and
stay informed.